They won the World Series last October. The starting lineup for the visiting Texas Rangers. Jeff Houston leads off at second base. Al Newman, the former Twin, at third. Rafael Palmeiro had a great year a year ago, first base. Ruben Sierra, he is hitting .480 right now. Juan Gonzalez, one of the great young players in the game. He's going to be a big star. Kevin Reimer, 20 home runs last year. Jack Doherty is batting seventh. Dickie Thon is at shortstop, hitting eighth, and Ivan Rodriguez is the catcher, another very young but very talented player. And there is the very young pitcher of the Minnesota Twins, Pat Mahomes, and what a big night for him. 21 years of age. This is his major league debut.
Well, there's been some talk about whether he was going to be very nervous or just a little nervous. He has a good fastball, good curveball, and a great changeup. So he's got the pitches to work with. It's a matter of whether he can throw strikes or not.
You see there last season in Double A, 136 strikeouts in 116 innings. Throws very hard. And there is ball one to Jeff Houston.
He pitched against the Texas Rangers once in the spring, and he pitched a no-hitter for 5 innings.
Houston, 267 for the year, and that is ball two. Now, the Texas Rangers have a record of 5-1 and a team batting average of .311. And in 6 games, they have scored 49 runs. And tonight, they're playing without the man who's been off to a hot start with the home run bat, Dean Palmer. He's been feeling ill. They're giving him the night off. And, of course, Julio Franco hasn't even played at all. He only led the majors in hitting last year.
Well, those 4 pitches by the rookie seem like he is nervous. He was just tossing the ball up there, really aiming it, not throwing it. There's the defense behind the rookie. Pedro Munoz in right field. Kirby Puckett, Shane Mack, Scott Leas at third, Greg Gagney's at short, Chuck Knobloch is at second, Gene Larkin is at first, Brian Harper behind the plate, and Pat Mahomes on the mound.
And the hitter is Al Newman. Greeted here very warmly Friday night, the first game of this series. Takes a strike as he shows bunt. Newman was a member of both Minnesota World Championship teams in '87 and again last year, and one of the more popular players in the club. Very likable. And he's one of those prototypical Minnesota type players. I guess, Joe, he's a worker, and he'll do whatever it takes to win.
Last night, in fact, John, not only did they give him an ovation, they gave him a standing ovation Friday night when they first got back here.
There's Houston over at first base. Teams like to run against Brian Harper, the Minnesota catcher. And Mahomes is too low with a 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, Mahomes, through his minor league career, walked about 6 batters per 9 innings. He improved on that last year and improved on it greatly this spring. He was one of their best pitchers this spring down at Fort Myers. There goes Houston. Newman fouls it off.
Well, the job for the 5th starter this year was between David West, who they got from the New York Mets, and Willie Banks, and of course Pat Mahomes. And Tom Kelly made it very plain. He said whoever pitches the best in spring training will get the start. And Mahomes pitched better than the other 2, so they're in the minor leagues, and he's here starting against the Texas Rangers.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Houston was running on the last pitch. Staying put this time. Kirby Puckett in left center. 1 away. Newman retired. This series started Friday night, opening night at home for the Twins. And the Twins put on a big show. Kevin Tapani pitched a beauty. And that was the only time this year Texas has been shut down offensively. Shane Mack, a home run, 4 hits in that one. Then last night, Minnesota blew a 6-0 lead. Texas won the ball game in 10 innings, 10-8. Rick Aguilera, for the 2nd time this week, blowing a save in the 9th inning for the Twins. Now Rafael Palmeiro, 3-time All-American out of Mississippi State, and he's off to a little bit of a slow start, although he hit a 3-run homer here last night to fuel the Texas comeback. Ball 1 from Mahomes.
Well, the one thing you do not have to worry about in Texas is whether Rafael Palmeiro will hit or not. You do not have to worry about that.
Rafael Palmeiro last year hit .322. He had 26 home runs, and he had 48 doubles. And a balk has been charged to Pat Mahomes. And so Houston will be awarded second base. Well, let's take a look at this. We're going to take a look in the replay on normal speed.
And let's see if we can pick up the ball. Well, umpire at first saw a little bit more than I did. Ken Kaiser did anyway.
It was clear to me what he did, Joe.
Well, make me understand.
He balked.
Okay.
Here's a curveball too low to Rafael Palmeiro, ball 1. Palmeiro, one of his teammates at Mississippi State was Will Clark.
Yes.
And he kind of keeps Will Clark in the back of his mind at all times as he takes the ball outside, because he feels that he could be as good as Will Clark, and that is one of his aims. And certainly last year he had a year that Will Clark would have been proud of.
Yes, he hit more home runs last year than ever before, and I think that's the only missing ingredient is power from his game.
Strike 1, and it is 3-1 to Palmeiro. Now Mahomes is on the verge of getting into some serious trouble here. Not only is he behind a dangerous hitter here, Palmeiro, but on deck you've got Sierra. There he is, one of the great RBI men in the game since his emergence a few years ago. Well, he'll have to face Sierra with 2 men on. Another walk, 2 walks by Mahomes here in the first inning. And now we'll see Sierra, switch hitter. And again, he's doing it all right now, Joe. He's not just a slugger either, a big RBI man. He's a guy who hits 300.
Yes. I mean, he's an excellent hitter. He swings the bat well from both sides, and he has power from both sides. And the thing I like about him the most is he's a very aggressive hitter. I mean, he goes up attacking the baseball.
Look what he's done so far this year. 25 at bats and a .480 batting average. Go back 5 years with Sierra. His worst year, he drove in 91 runs. Hammered, but that will be caught in right field by Munoz.
That's the way he started off last night's ball game. He hit a shot at the second baseman to start the game, and then he started hitting line drives all over this place. And you see he's a little upset there, because not so much because he didn't get a hit, but because he cost himself an RBI right there. That's his job. He wants to drive in runs. That's what he's concerned with.
So Ruben Sierra, who is only 26 years of age and yet has had 5 years with 91 or more RBIs, 3 years over 100. Now here is Juan Gonzalez. Look at that, 360 already. He's a big, strong right-handed swinger. 2 on, 2 out. The curve misses. Now Gonzalez did some weightlifting at home in Puerto Rico this winter and gained 20 pounds and lost 2 inches around his waist. Had huge thighs, kind of a little bit of a shorter version of Dave Winfield. A ball and a strike. Mahomes perhaps settling in here.
Well, he needs to. Watching the monitor shows that he's throwing about 84 to 86 miles an hour, and I was told before the game that he gets up around 90 to 93 miles an hour. So maybe a little nervousness. He's holding the ball a little tighter than he would like to. I mean, it's just normal for a kid to be nervous in this situation, especially facing the Texas Rangers.
2 men on, 2 men out in the first inning. There's a fly ball to left center field. Very deep. Mack is back, and it's a 3-run homer for Juan Gonzalez. His second home run of the year, 4th, 5th, and 6th RBIs. And here come the Rangers again, averaging 8 runs a game, and they've got 3 home just like that.
Well, he got away with the pitch to Sierra. He just didn't get his up. He had a line drive, but Gonzalez lifts it over the short fence in left field. That was not a blast by Gonzalez, but this ballpark does not need a blast to get out of here. You see the target. Now watch how much he misses the target. Just a little up. It wasn't that bad a pitch. It was away, but it was up a little bit.
Here's Kevin Reimer. He hit 20 home runs last year, getting more and more playing time. 333 for Reimer already. No home runs so far, but 4 doubles, as you saw. He lines one down the right field line. Munoz just does grab that sinking liner to end the inning. But 3 runs on 1 hit for the Rangers. Now we'll see the world champs when we come back.
Being light is key when you run. You gotta be lightweight. So I wear the Pump Graphite. Me too. This arch design gives me lots of support.
Of 92. For the world champs, it'll be Shane Mack in left field. Chuck Knobloch, Rookie of the Year last year, second base. Herbie Puckett in center field. Chili Davis, big year last year, the DH. Ryan Harper, perennial 300 hitter, the catcher, batting 5th. Gene Larkin filling in for the injured Kent Herbeck. Rookie Pedro Munoz, they like him a lot, batting 7th. Scott Leyes over at third base, big home run in the series last year. And Greg Gagne is at shortstop, batting 9th. And the pitcher for Texas, coming off a 4-hit shutout of Seattle in his previous start, Kevin Brown.
I talked to Tom House before the ball game, and he brought up a good point. He said that Kevin Brown kind of reminds him a little bit of Al Hershiser. He has not reached the maturity stage of an Hershiser, but he throws a sinker and he throws a slider, but his is a hard sinker, so his best pitch is the sinker ball.
Strike, and it's 0-1. No sinker there.
As soon as I say that, he throws a high fastball.
Well, he also throws real hard.
Yeah, well, his sinker is a hard sinker. It bores in on the right-handed hitter.
Kevin Brown had an off year last season. Fouled away by Mack, and the count is 0-2.
Again, talking to Tom House about the Texas staff, he brought up a very good point, as he usually does. He said a lot of these players, young guys, they had major league ability but did not have major league experience. Now they've all matured into 26, 27-year-old pitchers, and he thinks you're really going to be surprised at how well they pitched this year.
Slider misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's excluding the big fella, Nolan Ryan, of course,
who right now on the disabled list.
He has a lot of experience, I mean.
Strike 3. Well, that's the kind of pitching that they expect from Brown. 1 away, and Knobloch coming up.
This is the Texas defense. Ruben Sierra in right, Juan Gonzalez in center, Jack Doherty is in left field, Al Newman's at third, Dickie Fonz at short, Jeff Houston at second base, Rafael Palmeiro is at first base, and Ivan Rodriguez is behind the plate. Kevin Brown on the mound.
Here is Knobloch, rookie of the year a year ago, and off to a great start this year. Strike, and it's 0-1. Kirby Puckett is on deck. 3-0. Texas out in front here in the very first inning.
Knobloch is the kind of player that has to grow on you, and I think that's exactly what he did to the sports writers last year, and he became rookie of the year just by getting better as the season went along.
Houston throws him out on the big chop. 2 men gone just like that. And 2 down and nobody on for Kirby Puckett. Kirby Puckett. Maybe you saw our interview with Kirby during the Baseball Tonight program. Kirby took control of that game. Talk about dominating a game. Game 6 of the series. Remember, the Twins are behind in the series in that game, and they had to face Steve Avery. Kirby hit a triple, driving a couple early in that game. Made a sensational catch at the outfield wall, and then he hit the game-winning home run. Talk about taking matters into your own hands. There's a strike on the outside from Brown.
Well, that's the true measure of a superstar and a leader on your ball club. When he takes charge, everyone knows that he's not going to let you lose that particular day.
Strike 2. Chase that slider. It's a wicked-looking slider, isn't it?
Well, the reason it's such a tough pitch, John, is because his fastball tails in on the right-hander, and it keeps you honest, keeps you from going out on the slider. Now you see the slider, but it's too late to go after it. So you're going to see a lot of ugly swings from right-handers against Brown.
Kirby took the pitch this time. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Brown, as was the case with Atlanta's John Smoltz last year, went and spoke with a psychologist to try and get his mental frame of reference where he needed to have it to have optimum efficiency. And so far he's looking very optimum. The end of 1, 3-0 Texas. On SportsCenter tonight, special exclusive conversation with Kevin Mitchell, now with Seattle Mariners. Here we go to the Texas second, and Jack Doherty takes a called strike. Now the Texas Rangers, who lead 3-0, have had the flu running through their clubhouse the last week or so. By the time they left Florida, that's a foul out of play. Originally, Kevin Reimer was in left field tonight, but he is hurting with the flu, so they made him the designated hitter. Dean Palmer, who only has 3 home runs the first week of the season, is also sitting out tonight, weakened with the flu. Texas has also had a tough travel schedule since leaving Florida.
Very tough travel schedule.
I mean, they left Florida, and where'd they go? They went to Seattle, about the furthest point away from Florida they could get and still be in mainland USA. Mahomes curves him and misses. 2-2. After 4 games there, they had an all-night flight here into the Central Time Zone from Seattle. They arrived Friday morning at 6:30. After the game tonight, they go home to Texas for their home opener tomorrow night. They should be getting home about 3 o'clock in the morning there. Over at third, Scott Leyes, foul ground. And Doherty is out number 1. Pat Mahomes, 21 years of age, from Lindale, Texas, making his major league debut tonight. And there is his father, Johnny Mahomes. Johnny coached his son in summer baseball from the time that Pat was 6 until he finally turned him over to his high school coach, Joe. And John Mahomes there never let his son throw a curveball. He said it was bad for his arm. That's fouled away by Dickie Thon. He says he believed in the old theory that throwing curves too young is the best way to ruin a young kid's arm.
There are a lot of different thoughts on that, but most of them agree with what Johnny Mahomes thinks. That you should not let them throw breaking balls at an early age.
Fastball just outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Dickie Thon.
You can see the difference, John, in Pat Mahomes this inning as compared to the first inning. He's up around 88 miles an hour, and he's getting ahead of the hitters.
And he's ahead of Thon, 1-2.
He threw a strike to Doherty starting off the inning, and now he's ahead of Dickie Thon. So I think it was probably just first inning jitters. But with the Texas Rangers, first inning jitters cost you 3 runs or more.
2-2 now. So obviously the Mahomes has the jitters. You have to expect that. 21 years of age. He's living his dream right now. He said truly, I mean literally dreamed of making his major league debut since he was a little kid. That is a base hit for Dickie Thon.
He got that pitch up to Dickie Thon. You either have to get it way up or down. Cannot get it in the hitting zone for Dickie Thon.
Now here is Ivan Rodriguez, young catcher, and last night in the 9th inning against a veteran reliever, Rick Aguilera, he got the big hit. Let's take a look at it. It was 7-5 with a man aboard. The Twins ahead in the 9th inning. Can you believe he hit that one out?
Not a bad pitch by Aguilera. Breaking ball down.
And out it went to tie that game 7-7. Now this fella, he's a veteran. I mean, in effect, he came up last year, and he's only 20. There goes the runner. But Rodriguez drives one deep into center. Puckett having to go way back there. He's got it. Thon returns to first. Rodriguez seems to have some quick wrists or something. He takes that low pitch and drives it.
Well, he looks like he's built like you would love to have all your catchers built. Very solid and strong. Look at his biceps. Very strong individual. And a great thrower.
And there is Jeff Hewson, the leadoff man. Did just what they like to see a leadoff man do in the first inning. Got on base to start a Texas rally. Set the table for the big sluggers. There goes Thon. Throw by Harper. Not in time. And they will run on Harper. You saw the series last October. And
well, yeah, they may start to run on Harper, but this is not his fault. Thon had a great jump. Watch, he does a good jump on Mahomes, and by the time that Harper gets the ball, makes a good, strong, accurate throw. I mean, there's nothing else that Harper could have done on that play. That base was stolen off of the pitcher, not the catcher.
1 ball and no strikes now to Hewson. Base hit could mean another run. Harper looked like he was surprised by that pitch. 2-0. Pat Mahomes. He was a great basketball player. His hometown of Lindale, University of Arkansas. Bring him there to play basketball. Of course, the Final Four was played here last weekend in this building. And Mahomes commented recently, he says, you know, if I'd gone to the University of Arkansas, I probably would have been in the Final Four with them 2 years ago when they made it. He averaged 30 points a game as a senior in high school. Strike 2. 2-2 the count. We're in the top of the 2nd inning from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Sunday night baseball. The Texas Rangers have jumped ahead of the Minnesota Twins, and their rookie right-hander in his major league debut, Pat Mahomes. 3-0 Texas. Mahomes with a man at second in the second, and 2-2 the count to Houston.
All of a sudden, John, he seems to have found his fastball. By that, I mean it's the proper release point, because his fastball, not only is it faster, but it has more movement on it. Now you can see why they were so high on it. And that fastball right there, that's a big league fastball with some movement.
So Mahomes much improved. 3-0 Texas. An inning here from the Metrodome. John Miller, Joe Morgan with you. And of course we'll be with you again next Sunday night from Dodger Stadium. Tonight we look at the world champion Minnesota Twins. Next Sunday night we look at the two teams that battled it right to the wire in the National League West. The Dodgers hosting the Atlanta Braves. The Braves and the Twins, of course, in that great World Series last year. There's a foul by Chili Davis off to the left. Back out of play. 8 o'clock next week Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. And of course, that is where you'll find us every Sunday all through the baseball season.
Chili Davis has been very frustrated since the second half of last year, even the start of this year, because he says he's walking too much, not getting in a lot of opportunities to drive in runs and to do what he does best. You know, he led. A lot of people think that Kirby Puckett led the team in runs batted in last year, but it was Chili Davis.
Base hit into center field for Chili. No walk there. In his first 5 games, try this out for size, Chili Davis had walked 9 times.
Right.
And that's perhaps one of the effects of Herbeck being out right now, not hitting behind it.
Well, here's Chili Davis's swing. Low inside fastball. Most left-handed hitters can handle that pitch. And he lines it back through the middle for a base hit. The one place you do not want to pitch left-handed hitters is down and in. Most of them can hit that pitch better than they hit the other pitches up and away.
Brian Harper, strike from Kevin Brown. As you saw, Harper hitting .316, and if past form is any indication, he'll probably stay right around that the whole year. Chili Davis, by the way, talking about his RBIs last year, 29 homers and 93 RBIs for Chili.
And Kirby Puckett had 89 runs batted in for the Twins.
They start the year without Kent Herbeck. Sometimes Chili would hit behind Herbeck, sometimes vice versa. But they're missing the big first baseman right now. And the one thing the Twins don't have a whole lot of, especially with Herbeck out of the lineup, is home run power.
Well, when you look at the Twins, they really do not scare you as a team. But they get the job done. They play sound, fundamental baseball, and they have a good pitching staff. When you have a good pitching staff, good defense, you're going to be in most games. So if you get any production, a hit here, a good clutch RBI there, you're going to win a lot of ball games, and that's what the Twins did. No one expected the Twins to win last year.
Foul ball.
Not only the World Series, but they didn't expect them to win their division. And all of a sudden, they put everything together with good pitching, fine defense, and good fundamentally sound baseball, and they're world champions.
Well, you look at their rotation this year. They have 2 of Major League Baseball's 4 20-game winners in their rotation this year. Popped up, shallow left. Out from short is Thon. In from left, Doherty still coming. He makes the catch. Davis will go back to first. 1 down for the Twins in the second inning. 3-0 Texas ahead. Doherty goes back out to left field, and the batter will be Gene Larkin, the replacement for Kent Herbeck, and also World Series hero. 10th inning. In a 0-0 game, it was he who finally came up and once and for all ended it. It was kind of disappointing when it finally did.
Yes, you're right. It was a little disappointment there when it was finally over. A lot of drama in that World Series last year.
And Larkin, as Davis gets back, he's part of the Twins' depth. I mean, they can come at you a lot of different ways. And Kelly's got his regulars, he's got his role players, and Larkin is one of the latter. Can play the outfield, first base, DH, a pretty good pinch hitter, and he's a switch hitter.
I believe most of the Twins players are role players, with the exception of Kirby Puckett, Chili Davis, and Kent Herbeck. Everyone else really plays a role that supports what these 3 players do. So I believe that they're a team of role players, and that's why they were able to win. Everyone knew their role, and they played their role. I mean, they were not there. You know, no one said I should be playing every day, I should be hitting 4th, etc. They knew their jobs, they knew their roles, and they fulfilled them.
Foul ball, strike 2 now to Larkin. Larkin, 250 at the start of the year. One guy who might emerge this year because he's been coming and coming and coming. Shane Mack.
Yes. Well, but you have to remember, Shane Mack has never been star status, so to speak, and you never know how a player will react once he's put in the spotlight. I have to admit that I've been a Shane Mack fan for a long period of time, even when he was with San Diego. But here he came to the Twins and he just has blossomed into a fine player.
Kevin Brown gets Larkin on strikes. Second strikeout for Brown.
We'll take a look at Kevin Brown as he gets his second strikeout. That's a good slider right on the inside part of the plate, right under the hands of Gene Larkin. See the slider? He swings right over the top of it. That's the way a true slider is supposed to break.
And we want to get
last minute.
Want to get a good look at this fellow, Pedro Munoz. Strike 1 on the outside. He didn't like the call. Munoz, a rookie, and of course Dan Gladden is no longer with the Twins, now in Detroit. Munoz has hit the ball well early. They think he's going to be a very fine hitter. He's hit as many as 19 home runs in the past in the minor leagues. But he's not a slugger. He'll say his power is really to right center.
One of the great things about this ballpark that will help you as a hitter, and especially as a young hitter, it will prove to you that you do not have to pull the ball to be a power hitter or to hit some gaps. If you drive the ball to right field, you can hit it out if you're a right-handed hitter. If you drive the ball to left center, it'll go out. So this is a ballpark that really helps a young player to understand I don't have to pull every pitch. I can just hit the ball where it's pitched and drive it.
He burst upon the scene in September when he was recalled after his minor league season ended, most impressively. Drive deep to right, but it'll stay in the park. Sierra right on the line, and that is the inning. We'll tell you about Munoz a bit later. Right now, 3-0 Texas after 2.
Looks
there. And before that, you saw Ouch But Out with Brian Harper and Lonnie Smith. Some baseball art, which is truly becoming trendy these days. Baseball art. And there's a strike from the rookie Pat Mahomes to the former Twin Albert D. Newman. 3-0 Texas ahead. The Rangers batting in the 3rd inning. And a check swing foul. 0-2. We're talking about Pedro Munoz as he made the final out of the inning. When he was brought up from the minors last September, in his first game, he had a pinch hit single in the 10th to win the game. The very next day, he hit the game-winning 3-run homer to give the Twins a 6-5 win. And perhaps not so surprisingly, he's the starting right fielder this year. 0-2 the count.
Well, you can see the difference in Pat Mahomes this inning as compared to the first inning. He is getting progressively better as the game goes along, and it's probably because he's relaxed a little bit more now. He's already given up his first run this season, and now he just kind of relaxed and go get him.
1-2 the count.
Even that pitch there is better than what he was doing in the first inning. The first inning, he was aiming the ball. There, he just let it go. Obviously, he overthrew it, but at least it tells me he's trying to turn the ball loose. There's the changeup. He has a good fastball, good curveball, and a change. Well, because he was behind so much in the first couple of innings, that is probably about the second changeup we've seen the entire ball game.
Larkin will take it himself, although Mahomes was there. Newman is retired, 1 away. And thank you very much. This is very confident. Welcome to Mahomes Dome.
Yeah, it's confident that he will be around for a long period of time and be a success here in Minnesota.
Now he'll have to face Rafael Palmeiro. 3-0 the Rangers ahead. Palmeiro walked his first time. Rafael Palmeiro, and just getting better and better each year. As you mentioned, Joe, the last time, now hitting the ball with power. Before, when the Cubs traded him, they kind of badmouthed him a little bit.
Right.
So, well, he hits a soft 300. Doesn't hit the home runs.
And I know that may sound strange to some people, but there are such things as soft 300s.
Well, not last year. 322, 26 homers, 3 triples, and 49 doubles. That's one more than I mentioned earlier. 78 extra base hits, 88 RBIs. He scored 115 runs. Sweet swing for Palmeiro. 3-0 with Sierra right behind him. And another walk for Palmeiro. Twice he has walked. Now Mahomes will have to face Ruben Sierra.
And Sierra's the kind of guy you'd rather not face from a stretch position. You'd rather face him standing from a complete windup.
Now Sierra's a guy who could become a free agent at the end of the year, and there have been very public negotiations that have gone on between Ruben's agent and the Rangers, but he certainly has the credentials. 25 homers, 116 RBIs last year, and he hit .307, and he stole 16 bases. Stride.
And he improved his defense. 1989, John, he hit .306 with 119 RBIs, and he had 29 home runs, and he also scored 101 runs.
And a lot of people thought he should have been named the MVP that year.
Yes.
Robin Yount won the award. Ruben Sierra. He's a switch hitter besides that, and he can hurt you from both sides. Heading for second is Palmeiro, and he's in there.
That's good base running by Palmeiro. What happened was, as soon as the ball hit the dirt, he started towards second, and there was no chance for Harper, even though the ball did not roll very far from him. No chance for him to make a throw to second base.
So a wild pitch charged, and just how wild was it?
That's a changeup that he holds on to a little too long. You see, as soon as the ball bounced, Palmeiro took off. No chance for Harper there. Wisely, he does not try to make a great throw to second base.
And all of a sudden, Ruben has a man in scoring position. 1-1 the count. High fly ball. Medium deep left center. Mack. Palmeiro was going halfway, so he'll return to second. So Sierra retired for the second time, and now Juan Gonzalez, the hitter.
This will be interesting for me to see how the young pitcher goes after Gonzalez. Gonzalez hurt him in the first inning with a 3-run homer. Let's see how he pitches him this time. I think this will tell you a lot about the makeup of Pat Mahomes for the future.
Now you might say, well, first base is empty, but you've got a left-handed hitter with a lot of power hitting behind Gonzalez, Kevin Reimer.
And you're already down 3-0, so you have to go after him. And let's just see how he goes after him. See if he really throws the fastball well when he throws it, or if he just tries to aim it, go inside, outside. I think Gonzalez hit one of his mediocre fastballs in the first inning.
Ball one. Now Mahomes is only 21. This is his major league debut. Juan Gonzalez, who last year had 27 homers, 102 RBIs, he's 22. He's a baby himself.
Young superstars, huh?
Texas has got a few of those young type superstars. And it is 2-0 to Gonzalez. 6 feet 3 inches tall. He's from Puerto Rico. 3-0 Texas on the Gonzalez 3-run first inning homer. Now he bats with 2 down here in the third. Palmeiro, the runner, at second. Into left. Mack comes on and just does pull it off the top of the turf to retire the side. That one was sinking in a hurry. 3-0 Texas after 2.5. Stay with us. Escuela Superior Villalba, and that was Orlando Gomez, who happens to hail from that little town in the countryside in Puerto Rico. Juana Diaz.
How did I guess that?
There's ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike to Scott Leyes. And he wants to say hi to all the teachers at the Escuela Superior Villalba, the superior school, Villalba. And his daughter goes to school there. And that's Melanie. And he says, Melanie, his wife, Nilsa, and the whole town of Juana Diaz, Puerto Rico, watching Sunday night baseball. Not just tonight, they never miss it down there. Scott Leyes, the hitter, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bienvenidos a la Sunday night baseball.
I tell you what, John, after that plug, they shouldn't miss it.
Orlando Gomez, 29 years in professional baseball. And just last year, into the big leagues as a coach for the first time. Slider from Brown outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Texas, of course, with the likes of Ruben Sierra, Juan Gonzalez, both from Puerto Rico, and Rafael Palmeiro, born in Cuba, although moved to the United States when he was 6 with his family. And Juan Guzman in that starting rotation. Quite a Caribbean Spanish-speaking influence in this ball club. And Leyes is down on strikes. Kevin Brown looks awfully tough tonight.
Well, it's an 89-mile-an-hour fastball. He starts it on the outside part of the plate and it just sinks down. Good hard sinker from Kevin Brown.
Here is Greg Gagne, the fine shortstop of the Twins. And he certainly got, I think, a lot of recognition during the World Series last year, and rightly so. He's one of the best defensive shortstops in the league.
Good player.
That's a foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's struggling right now, ironically. After just 5 games, he has committed 3 errors already. In fact, the Twins, who are one of the best defensive clubs in either league, struggling as a team, they've made 11 errors in 5 games.
They've only had 1 game this year where they didn't make an error.
1 ball, 1 strike to Greg Gagne. 1 out, nobody out on the 3rd. Texas ahead 3-0. Talking about the Texas ball club, by the way, we haven't even mentioned Julio Franco, who only won the batting title last year. He's been on the disabled list. Caught by Palmeiro in foul ground. Gagne retired. 2 men gone. And we go to the top of the order for Shane Mack. The Metrodome. We had some big crowds here this weekend. 53,000 for opening night Friday, and more than 50,000 last night. Now Shane Mack, the hitter. Now he was beamed the other day. I'm sure you must have seen the terrible videotape of that on ESPN. 1 ball and no strikes. Appeal denied by Ken Kaiser. Well, Mack missed a couple of days and then came right back to the lineup. And in his first at bat after being beamed, he hit a home run. Over the middle, base hit for Shane Mack. And Mack is now 9 for 20 this year. His average is .450.
Not only did he hit a home run his first day back, he had 4 hits in the game. So he is, the beanie may have just woke him up, as they say. You get a good look at Kevin Brown. It's a sinker over the outside part of the plate, and Mack just grounded back up through the middle. Bounces over Brown off the AstroTurf. That is really an AstroTurf base hit there.
Now Mack also has pretty good speed. He can steal a base, although he's down. His ball club is down by 3 runs right now.
But you're only in the 3rd inning, so it's not too late that you can't attempt to make something happen if you want to steal a base.
On the other hand, it is tough to steal with this Ivan Rodriguez behind the plate. Center field, Gonzalez is right there. And that retires the side. 1 hit. Mack is left on. At the top of the 4th inning, Kevin Reimer leads it off against the rookie Pat Mahomes. It is 3-0 for Texas. And that's a foul, a shot down the right field line in amongst the spectators. Look out over there. 0-1 the count. Reimer lined out to right field his first time.
You can tell that when a pitcher has a good changeup is he will throw it on the first pitch. Usually you will throw a fastball before you throw the changeup, so they'll have a speed in which to gauge your pitch against. If you just start him off with a changeup, that could be a mediocre fastball to a hitter, and he can hammer it. But if you have a real good one, you can throw it on any pitch at any time.
Ball and a strike. 2-1. Mahomes will turn 22 August the 9th. They said that he always looks just like that. He seems to always be totally under control. 2-2 the count. He was an all-state quarterback in Texas at Lindale High School, and he was a drop back pro type quarterback. 30 points a game basketball, all-state basketball, and he was an outfielder and an excellent hitter in high school. 2-2 the count. Fouled back, and you know, Mahomes was surprised when he got drafted for the Twins, and they wanted him as a pitcher. You see Mahomes with 56 pitches thrown. We're only in the 4th inning. But as a junior in high school, he hit .611. And then he hit .583 in American Legion baseball.
Sounds like he should have been in the National League.
I want to see this guy hit.
Hey, John, he's wasting his talents here in the American League.
And Shane Mack takes it. Reimer is retired. 1 away. Don't forget now, the season premiere of Monday Night Baseball begins tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern with the National League champion Atlanta Braves without Dave Justice. We just learned he's gone to the disabled list today. And of course, Barry Larkin and the Cincinnati Reds, who are really struggling right now. Chris Berman and Tommy Hunt will be there 7:30 tomorrow. ESPN Major League Baseball. Don't miss it. The Braves and the Reds. And those two teams should be, as Keith Jackson would say, button heads all the way until October at National League West. Jack Doherty, the hitter, ball 1 to him. Fouled out to third his first time. Look out. 2-0 the count. And we mentioned that the Texas first base coach Orlando Gomez, his family and friends in the little town of Juana Diaz, Puerto Rico, watching. How about the little town of Lindale, Texas?
Yeah.
You think they're tuned in tonight? And ball 3 to Doherty. Mahomes, ironically, there's Orlando Gomez. But Pat Mahomes facing the Texas Rangers. The Texas ballpark, Arlington Stadium, is about an hour's drive from his hometown over in East Texas. Ball 4. And Doherty draws the walk. 4th walk allowed by Mahomes. 1 on, 1 out, top of the 4th inning. Sunday Night Baseball, 1992. I'm John Miller along with Joe Morgan. We're glad to have you with us. Texas 3, Minnesota nada. 3-run first inning homer by Juan Gonzalez. All of the scoring in the game. We're watching Dickie Thon stand in against the rookie making his major league debut, Pat Mahomes. Broken bat to third, Layes to second, 1, now blocked to first, 2. A double play. Down go the Rangers. We'll see Puckett, Davis, and Harper when we return. Twins, Kirby Puckett. The power's coming up. Puckett, then Chili Davis, and Brian Harper. The number 3 hitter, Puckett. To start it off, Kevin Brown throws him a strike. Now Kirby grounded to first his first time. 3-0 Texas. The Twins only 2 hits against Brown so far. He has looked real tough.
There's a very sharp breaking ball tonight, John, and a good sinker, and a good fastball is, you know, tailing back in on the right-hander. So he's got everything going for him so far tonight. Good slider there. Strike 2.
1-2 to Puckett. Many of the Rangers' hopes rest on a strong season coming from this man, Kevin Brown, this year. Certainly has the stuff to do it.
Definitely. The one problem the Rangers have had throughout, you know, the last 3 or 4 years anyway has been problems, injury problems. They've got to keep their pitchers healthy. If they can keep their starters healthy, they're in pretty good shape.
Strike 3 call to the outside corner.
That was a good pitching sequence by Kevin Brown.
Now let's go to Tom Mees.
All right, John, Budweiser takes us to Cleveland. Good news for Boston's Matt Young. He gave up no hits to the Indians today in 8 innings. The bad news is he lost. Bottom of the 3rd, 1-zip Cleveland. A walk and a fielder's choice, but runners at 2nd and 3rd. Luis Rivera can't get the runner here. And the Indians go on to win it 2-1, even though they got nary a hit in game 1 of this doubleheader. John?
All right, Tom. Pretty amazing. There's a ball 1 to Chili Davis. We understand that Roger Clemens pitched a 2-hitter and won the second game, which just doesn't seem fair, right? The other guy pitched a no-hitter and lost. Clemens gave up 2 hits, got clobbered,
and he wins the game. No one ever said baseball was fair.
So in a doubleheader, the count to Chili Davis 2-0. In a doubleheader at home, Cleveland got 2 hits total, which is an all-time major league record for futility in a doubleheader. No team has ever been held to just 2 hits in an entire doubleheader until today. Boston did it, and they didn't even win both games. 2-0 or 3-0 now to Chili Davis. He singled his first time, and he walks. First walk allowed by Brown. And that is the 10th walk Chili Davis has taken this year, and this is just his 6th game.
Well, as you mentioned, without Kent Herbeck in the lineup, or, you know, he often hits behind Chili, you're not going to get a lot of pitches if you're Chili Davis. Harper's a good hitter, but he's not a power hitter. You know, Chili Davis can hurt them with one swing.
Harper flied to shallow left his first time. Minnesota Twins in this ballpark, they can get the wildest rallies going with broken bat flares, choppers off the turf. They don't always have to do much to really get something started against you. Tom Kelly certainly knows all about that. He's seen it over the years. They haven't done anything against Kevin Brown. 2-0 the count. And Tom House, the pitching coach, is going to go out and speak now to his pitcher, Kevin Brown, who all of a sudden can't find the strike zone.
Well, the one thing I know he wants to make sure that he doesn't do is give too much attention to Chili Davis at first base. He wants to make sure that he gives all his concentration to the hitter.
And House back to the dugout. Now, they need some innings from Brown tonight. They got opening night in Texas tomorrow night. Long trip home. But their bullpen is all chewed up. They had the 10-inning game last night. The starter got knocked out early. Starter got knocked out early Friday night here, too. This could be 2. Turned by Houston. Double play. Tom House must be a genius.
Right.
Best advice I've ever seen. 3-0 Texas after 4. In Bloomington, Rod Carew on this base hit, his 3rd of the day, had pushed him over the 400 mark. Later in that game, Carew connected for his 4th hit of the game, a home run, and his average was up to 403. He finished the year at 388 and won the American League MVP honors. And then he went into the Hall of Fame. Rod Carew, one of the greats. And right outside the Metrodome, Rod Carew Drive. And Rod's back in baseball.
Yes, he's with the California Angels.
Here come the Texas Rangers. Ivan Rodriguez, the catcher, facing Pat Mahomes.
Actually, the Twins, their last link to the past, so to speak, the Harmon Killebrews and the Tony Olivas and the Bob Allisons of the world. Tony Oliva was a coach the last few years. He is no longer a coach on the field with the Minnesota Twins.
1 ball, 1 strike now to Ivan Rodriguez. Jeff Hewson on deck, the leadoff man, and then Al Newman due up 3rd in the inning. Palmeiro would be due up 4th in the inning. A ball and a strike. 2-1. Now the Texas Rangers off to a pretty good start on the road, 5-1. Oakland finally lost the game today. Oakland had been unbeaten until today. Chicago defeated them 6-4. Caught by Larkin. 1 away.
Well, it's a good piece of hitting by Rodriguez. The ball's away, as you can see, and he goes the other way with it. But Larkin is playing him close to the line, and nice catch. He needed all of that first baseman's glove. Normal fielder's glove, he may not have been able to hold on to that one.
Curveball misses to Jeff Hewson. Hewson has walked and scored a run that he has struck out.
You can see that Mahomes is more comfortable because that's the first overhand breaking ball he has thrown the entire ball game.
Why would that indicate he's more comfortable?
Well, because now he's starting to use his entire repertoire. He's going to other pitches and going to other situations. He's moving the ball in and away. Before, he was just trying to throw strikes. See, that pitch is in, the other pitch was away.
2-1 the count to Jeff Hewson. Well, Mahomes only has allowed 2 hits. Thon with a single in the second. Unfortunately, the first hit came with 2 men on, and it was a 3-run homer by Gonzalez.
He has also walked 4, though, I think.
Strike. It is 2-2. He walked 2 of the first 3 men he faced in this game in the very first inning. He's walked 2 more since then, 1 in the 3rd, Palmeiro, and 1 in the 4th, Doherty. Neither one of them scored. Larkin, look out, he got a bad hop to Mahomes covering. Houston is retired.
If you play on AstroTurf, you realize that anytime the ball hits close to the cutout, you're going to probably get a bad hop or a high hop. And Larkin was ready for it. In fact, he stays back. Watch, see, he doesn't charge the ball. He waits, and it hits right at the edge of the carpet and the dirt, so you get the high hop, and he was prepared for it. Nice play. Looked like a routine play, but it was a little tougher than that.
Now Al Newman. And it is ball one. Newman went to spring training with Cincinnati and was released at the end of the spring. And he thought about retiring. But about 3 hours after he was released by the Reds, he got a call from the Rangers. And they said, "Are you interested?" And of course, he's getting a lot of playing time right now with Julio Franco, the Rangers second baseman on the disabled list. 3-0. Tonight he's at third base. Dean Palmer gets the night off. The latest Texas offensive prodigy. 3-0. 3-1. You got to go after Newman and end the inning here. You got Palmeiro on deck.
Well, as often happens with young pitchers, they will concentrate very hard, get the first two hitters out, and then lose their concentration and give up either a base hit or a base on balls.
Walk number 5, and that allows Palmeiro a chance to take aim at that short right field porch. The home run tonight by Gonzalez. You saw Dick Such, the pitching coach of the Twins, sitting alongside Tom Kelly there. Gonzalez home run was to left field, but the home run porch is right field. It is very friendly. It's maybe 350 or so to right center.
The only difference is they have the high balloon or a high wall in right field.
Curtain. What Al Michaels used to call it, the hefty bag.
The hefty bag.
You see it, 23 feet high out there in right field. 327 to the corner, but then it comes straight across instead of arcing out, so it is not very deep out there. 1 strike to Palmeiro. He has walked twice. Newman is back. Larkin out of the bag with him. 3-0 Texas, top of the 5th. Rafael Palmeiro. He hit one out of here to center field last night against Erickson. 20-game winner. 0-2 the count.
That was a real good fastball. That may have been the best fastball he's thrown the entire ball game.
Only 2 hits, as you see, but 3 runs, 5 walks.
And only 1 strikeout. That's a little surprising because the Texas hitters are pretty much free swingers.
There goes the runner. They pitch out. Harper's throw a bit offline, I'd say.
One of the things you do when you pitch out is you don't have to rush. That's the reason that you pitch out, so you can do everything at the right speed. They pitched out, and Harper tried to speed up everything, which causes a problem. It's a good pitch out, right where he wants it, right there. Now he just speeds up and actually throws kind of 3/4. The ball tails on him and gets away. After the second crow hop, he may not have had Al Newman anyway.
Now a man in scoring position. The count goes to 1-2 to Palmeiro. Newman's first steal as a Ranger. Second stolen base of this game for Texas. Dickie Thon stole one back in the second. The 1-2 pitch. He struck him out. Blew it right past him. 3-0 Texas after 4½. Here we go to the last of the 5th inning. The Twins being shut out by Kevin Brown, who is the early front runner for the Cy Young Award in the American League. I mean, he has pitched 13 innings and has yet to allow a run this year. He shut out Seattle on 4 hits last Tuesday at the Kingdome of all places, and now he has shut out the Twins here through the first 4 innings on just 2 hits. Larkin takes ball 2. Now the Twins scored 7 runs against Texas Friday and 8 more last night, chewing up the Rangers bullpen in the process. But Brown has silenced them. The silence of the Twins, starring Anthony Hopkins. 2-1 now to Larkin. He struck out his first time. Brown has 4 strikeouts. Only 1 walk. Right to Houston. And Larkin is 1 away. By the way, Kent Herbeck, who separated his shoulder during the spring, the outlook still is not very good on him, Joe. I mean, Herbeck, according to Tom Kelly, no telling when he'll be back. Still could be a long while.
Well, he's been swinging a bat in batting practice, and he said that it only bothered him, you know, after a long period of time. So he feels he'll be back a little sooner. And of course, the player is always a little more optimistic than the doctors or the people who make those decisions.
Pedro Munoz, the hitter, takes a strike. Munoz flied to right his first time. 3-0 Texas, 5th inning. And it is 1-1. To his credit, Kevin Brown's opposite number, the rookie in his major league debut, Pat Mahomes, after that 3-run first inning homers, kept his club in this game. Twins can score runs in a hurry in this ballpark, but right now they're having a hard time even making contact against Kevin Brown. 1-2 the count to Munoz. Leyes is on deck. Another Twin out with an injury. Mike Pagliarulo is expected back pretty shortly. He's taking batting practice. He's here with the club. Might be just a few more days before he's back. That sinker just does miss. 2-2 the count. Tom Kelly. They say it's an interesting relationship that he has with his players. He's a great motivator. And you say, in a way, he's one of the guys, but then again, he's not. He's complete, total command and respect of this ball club. Nice play by Houston to get Munoz 2 down in the 5th. Don't forget, next Sunday night, we'll greet you from Dodger Stadium. Darryl Strawberry and the Dodgers and the National League champion Atlanta Braves, Ron Gant and company. And then the following Sunday, in 2 weeks from tonight, Wally Joyner and the Kansas City Royals and the high-flying Toronto Blue Jays, Roberto Alomar and company. The Jays are unbeaten. There is ball 1. They beat Baltimore today and swept the Orioles after they had swept the Tigers, and Toronto is 6-0.
Well, Toronto is undoubtedly the favorite in the American League East.
Over the middle by Leyes. Thon gets him, and that is it. Brown making it look easy. Sierra when we come back. The 3rd season of Sunday Night Baseball. I'm John Miller. This is Joe Morgan, as if you needed to know that. Joe, so far Kevin Brown, too much for the Twins.
Well, it's like Tom House told me before the ball game. This guy has really gained the experience he needed for the major league job he's going to do, and he's going to be the leader of the staff, especially now that Nolan Ryan is on the disabled list.
Meanwhile, Pat Mahomes in his major league debut, after the tough first inning, has held his own against the powerful Texas Rangers. Ruben Sierra takes a curve for a strike, then Gonzalez, then Reimer, and that is a ball. So it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Sierra has lined to right and flied to left center. 0 for 2 tonight. I think that's the longest slump he's had this year. Chased one. Leyes, does he have room? No, it's in amongst the spectators. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Sierra.
When I talked to Sierra before the game, he said he's in the best shape he's ever been in. He said he feels better than he's ever felt, and he says he's swinging the bat better than ever. So he says that this could be the best season ever. So I mean, that's awesome to say that you're going to, you know, have the best season you've ever had, especially after some of the seasons that he has had. But he is, looks like he's on track for the best season ever.
Ruben Sierra. Ooh. Chased one over his head, and all of a sudden Mahomes has found that strikeout pitch. He struck out Palmeiro, blew a fastball past him to win the 5th inning, and now he gets Sierra chasing a real high one.
Well, Sierra has a couple of weaknesses. One is the off-speed pitch in the dirt, and the other is the pitch over his head. Those are the only 2 pitches I've seen that he cannot hit. See, that pitch is above his shoulders. No way he can hit that. Maybe we'll get another look at it. No way. But those are the only 2 pitches I've seen him have trouble with. One that bounces and one that he can't reach over his head.
Now Juan Gonzalez, who's the only batter that Mahomes has really had trouble with in this game. Mahomes, remember, has only allowed 2 hits, but one of them a 3-run homer hit by this man, the 22-year-old Juan Gonzalez. You saw Bob Kipper, the left-hander, warming up in the Minnesota bullpen. We're in the 6th inning. Mahomes, his dad up from Lindale, Texas, to see this major league debut. And very high, 1 ball, 1 strike. I saw Patrick Royce, the very fine columnist here in the Twin Cities, quoted the father, Johnny Mahomes, earlier this week as saying, he says, "I'll be ready for the hospital. I'll be such a nervous wreck." Doesn't look nervous to me, does he?
Well, he's just like his son. His son doesn't seem nervous either. But like to say, he's like the duck in the water. Very calm on the outside.
All of the runs in this game driven in by that man, Gonzalez, back in the 1st inning.
Well, it's a breaking ball towards the outside part of the plate. Gonzalez just goes out and gets it and drives it over the left field fence. Actually, wasn't a bad pitch by Mahomes, but I mean, Gonzalez is a good hitter, and he just went right out to get it.
1-2 to Gonzalez. He flied to shallow left his last time. Check swing foul. Fastball right into the hands there.
That's where he should have come the 2nd time up, just to, you know, check him out, to let him know that he was on the mound. And he got ahead of him this time, and he comes inside with the fastball. He has not pitched inside very often during the ball game, and one thing you have to do is establish that you will come inside. And now he goes back away.
Look out, Bob Casey back there, the voice of the Metrodome. Bob must have been taking a nap the way he reacted on that one. Bob, wake up! He's the very loud and long-time voice of Twins baseball in the Metrodome, and before that, the old Metropolitan Stadium. He's the angry public address announcer. Big chop. Gonna have to hurry as Gagne just in time. Out number 2. And let's take you now to the studio and Tom Means.
All right, John, thanks a lot. Yankee pitchers did it all this weekend in Detroit. They pitched well. They fielded well. Scott Sanderson, off the bat of Dan Gladden, fields it and gets Gladden at first base. The Yanks and Blue Jays, the only 2 undefeated teams in baseball. They'll meet tomorrow night in Toronto. Some of you will be able to see that here on ESPN. John?
Thanks, Tom. Here, 3-0 Texas. As we play the top of the 6th inning, the Rangers' Kevin Reimer, who is lined to right and flying to shallow left at the plate, facing the rookie Pat Mahomes. Power pitching there.
The toughest pitches in baseball to hit is still the high hard one. We talk about the split fingers, fork ball. We talk about all the other pitches. But the high fastball with something on it is still the toughest pitch to hit.
And it is 2-1. Because he couldn't throw the curveballs, Dad wouldn't allow him to throw a curve when he was a youngster. He developed a knuckleball. When the Twins drafted him, the first thing they told him was, "Get rid of that knuckleball, kid." 2-1 the count. Foul tip. He's coming right after these guys now. 1-2, 2-2 rather.
He's probably proven to himself that his fastball is good enough to go after the Texas hitters. And he's also probably relaxed a little bit more now and saying, "Hey, I belong here."
2-2 pitch. And Reimer fouls it off.
It's one thing to think that you belong in the major leagues, but it's another thing when you find out for yourself and know that you belong. And I think he realizes now, hey, I can throw the fastball to these hitters, I can throw the changeup, and I can throw the breaking ball. So I have 3 pitches that I can use. And he's using them all the last couple of innings.
2 down, nobody on. The 2-2 pitch. Curveball, a fly ball, shallow right. Hurrying is Munoz, and that retires the side. 6 innings along just 2 hits for Pat Mahomes. Exciting night down in Lindale, Texas, in East Texas, about an hour from Arlington Stadium, the home of the Rangers. On the left, there's Johnny Mahomes, and on the right, that is his son, Pat Mahomes. A proud night, making his major league debut. And except for 1 pitch to Juan Gonzalez, quite a performance by Pat Mahomes. 2-hitter against the Rangers. Here is Gagne against Kevin Brown. And there's not, I think, a single pitch that Brown would regret so far in this one.
No.
He's got a 2-hitter. And a shutout going. 3-0. 0-2 to Gagne.
The only blemish on Mahomes' record is his 5 bases on balls. That's what's really gotten him in trouble. And that's why the Texas Rangers were able to score the 3 runs in the first inning. 2 base on balls and a home run by Gonzalez. Those are the only really scratches he has against his record tonight. There you see the 5 bases on balls, and he struck out 3 in the last 2 innings.
2-2 the count now. Two and two the count. Gagne, the 9th place hitter. Shane Mack is on deck. The Twins have just been stifled by Kevin Brown.
So were the Seattle Mariners.
Yep. But I mean, in this ballpark, scooped out by Palmeiro in the throw by Thon. In this ballpark, who stifles the Twins like this? It doesn't often happen. Don't forget now, tomorrow live at 3 o'clock Eastern on ESPN, the America's Cup continues with a defender race between Bill Koch's Kanza and Dennis Conner's Stars and Stripes. It's a race-off. It's Dennis Conner's last chance to get into the final. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock on ESPN. Here is Shane Mack. Chasing this one down. Ruben Sierra. Oh, just did have room, and Mack is retired just like that. 2 men gone. And Chuck Knobloch is coming up.
Sierra's playing Shane Mack down the right field line, so he looks over to find the stands. Now he knows he has room to make the catch. Nice catch by Sierra. He knew where he was all the time, and that's what you have to do as an outfielder, know where the fence is.
You showed it at the very outset of the telecast, but as Texas mounted a comeback last night for an eventual victory, one of the reasons that they were able to make that comeback was a great catch by Sierra in the outfield. Knobloch shows bunt, takes a strike. 0-1. Knobloch is grounded to second and fly to center. 3-0 Texas, last of the 6th. And Palmeiro handles it. One of the few hard hit balls for the Twins. They get nothing out of it. It is 3-0 Texas.
He had 2 home runs in today's loss to Chicago. The Yankee bullpen is on a peak, an ERA of below 1 run a game so far this year. What about the Valleys? What about those Tiger starters? An ERA of over 9 runs a game. No wonder the Tigers haven't won and the Yankees haven't lost, John.
All right, Tom, there's Bob Kipper, the relief pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. He has come on to replace the rookie, Pat Mahomes. This is the scene when Mahomes was given the info by manager Tom Kelly that it was a good day's work.
Well, I think he really wanted to win the game. He didn't want to just make a good showing. And he fell behind 3-0 early, but he kept his team in the ball game. He said before the game that he just wanted to make sure he would be happy if he could go around 7 innings and give his team a chance to win. He's gone his 6 innings, but they're trailing 3-0, but they still have a chance to win. 3 runs are not an insurmountable lead.
Bob Kipper, and we've seen a lot of him with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Some very good Pittsburgh Pirates ball clubs, acquired as a free agent during the offseason by the Twins.
Well,
Jack Doherty, the hitter.
Middle relief is something that a lot of teams are looking for right now.
Texas included.
Yeah.
2-1. Doherty is fouled to third and walked. Three runs, 2 hits for Texas. No runs, 2 hits for Minnesota. That is foul, and it is a count of 2-1 now to 2-2 to Jack Doherty. Just 2 hits there by Mahomes against a team that came into this game hitting .311.
Again, the only bad point there is the bases on balls. There's 5 bases on balls, and he issued a lot of those early.
Texas with just 2 hits and 20 at bats tonight. 3-2 the count now to Doherty. Well, Pat Mahomes was put into the fire. I mean, it's always going to be tough, that first big league start, but much less against the best hitting team in the league. High fly ball left center. Kirby Puckett, and Doherty is out number 1.
It's interesting, John, last year when we were here during the Minnesota-Oakland game, Willie Banks made his first start for the Minnesota Twins here.
Against the Oakland Athletics,
right,
the league champions at that time.
And he pitched pretty well also, but he gave up a couple of runs early. They didn't lose, but he gave up some runs early.
Well, and Willie Banks is back in the minor leagues. So is David West in the minor leagues. Bluffing the bunt is Thon, and he takes a strike. Also, Mark Guthrie, who's here, he's got a very good arm. They're using him in the bullpen right now. Right to third. Leyes got him. 2 men down in the 7th. Well, the Twins, in a way, Joe, it goes back to the Frank Viola trade. Traded Viola to the New York Mets, and what do they get? 5 pitchers in that deal? Tapani, who may be their best starting pitcher now. One of them anyway.
Yeah.
Aguilera they got. He's their ace closer, one of the best in the league. They got David West, who was supposed to be the most important man in the deal. He's in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
And there were others who came in that deal as well. Swinging strike by Ivan Rodriguez, 0-1. Rodriguez is fly deep to center and lined out to first, 0 for 2. Been stockpiling those very strong young arms ever since, and that's the work of general manager Andy McPhail of the Twins, who let Jack Morris go. They made Morris a big offer, but not as big an offer apparently as Toronto made him.
Well, it's interesting talking to Kirby Puckett. He said that this is the best pitching staff that they've had since he's been with the Minnesota Twins.
Big chop to short. Gagne plays the high hop, hurries the throw in time. It'll be Puckett, Davis, and Harper to try and get something going when we return. Brown give up a run. Here we go to the Twins, half of the 7th. Brown has pitched 15 innings for the season and has yet to allow a run. The Twins' biggest hitters coming up. Kirby Puckett fouls one away, and the 7th inning begins. Kirby Puckett has grounded to first, and he's been called out on strikes. One thing to keep in mind here, Brown had the shutout the other night in Seattle, his 3rd lifetime shutout. 5 times in his career he has taken shutouts into the 9th inning and lost them. Has not shown much staying power over the years. Into left field, that's a base hit for Kirby Puckett. Only the 3rd hit of the game for the Twins, and their first since the 3rd inning.
Well, Brown had pitched Puckett very tough the previous 2 at-bats. In fact, he had Puckett behind the ball every time, and this he chooses to throw him a breaking ball here, and it's in the middle of the plate, and Puckett is able to get around on it. He was not handling his fastball well at all. Now he just goes out and gets the breaking ball, pulls it into left field for a base hit.
Now Chili Davis, the home run and RBI leader for the Twins, and Brown has not retired him tonight. A single and a walk. Puckett is back.
You wonder why Brown would go to the breaking ball to Puckett in that situation anyway, because he's been having such good luck with the fastball.
And there's that fastball you're talking about. Having good luck with it again. Brian Harper is on deck. Well, you know, one thing that Brown was saying in regards to talking with the psychologist, he said last year he thinks he was outthinking himself. He says he knows what to do out there, and he says the best thing for him is not to overanalyze it. Strike 2 on the outside.
Well, in that case, he made the right pitch. We don't want him to think too much.
Well, maybe that's what he did on the breaking ball to Puckett. Maybe he was back thinking again, Joe.
Okay.
2 strikes to Chili Davis. Ooh, backdoored him with a breaking ball there, but missed.
That was a good pitch by Brown, especially 0-2. When you get 0-2, you try to get a pitcher a hitter to go just out of the zone to swing the bat. Breaking ball, he's going outside again with another breaking ball.
Struck him out.
That was actually a good sinker. You can see the catcher is set up toward the outside corner, and the ball really runs away to the outside corner. That's an excellent pitch. And Chili Davis a little late on that one. Good movement on the fastball by Brown.
Now Brian Harper, 0 for 2. Fly to shallow left and grounded into a double play. Puckett is back to first. 3-0 Texas in the 7th inning. Kevin Brown, 36 wins. His first 2 years in the big leagues, he won 12 each year, even though he didn't pitch in the month of September in either year because of some arm trouble. They think he is ready for a breakthrough season. He's having a great week anyway.
Yes.
One out for the Twins. Up the middle. In there, base hit. On the artificial turf. Outfielders have to be a bit more defensive.
And the one thing you have to remember, you have two good hitters in Kirby Puckett and Brian Harper. Both of them are pretty good high ball hitters. It's a high fastball from Brown, and Harper just lines it into center field. This pitch was not where Brown wanted it. He wanted it down a little bit more so he could get the ground ball for the double play. Gets it up, and Harper, being a good hitter, just lines it into center field.
Now Gene Larkin. He drove in the winning run in the 7th game to win the World Series for the Twins. I'd like to drive in the first run for the Twins here tonight against Kevin Brown. Base hit will do it. Just outside, ball 1. Bobby Valentine, his bullpen is very thin. Here in Minnesota already. It's a fair ball down the right field line. Wait a minute. It is a fair ball, yes. Puckett scores. Harper to third. The second is Larkin. The plate umpire was signaling foul, but the first base umpire, Kaiser, signaled fair, and it was his call.
Well, it's the first base umpire's call. You're right. But he was unsure of himself to start with, it seemed like, and I think Jim McKeon behind the plate was trying to give him some help. He was trying to give him some help because he didn't think Kaiser was sure of the call.
Well, now Kaiser's going to get an earful from Bobby Valentine. Well, the Rangers are really upset. Palmeiro immediately saw McKean signal foul from his vantage point at first base.
Well, the reason again is because Kaiser didn't make the call right away. And so that's why Jim McKeon thought he was helping him out. He was not trying to overrule him. He was trying to help him out. Now, if we get a look at this, you will see that Kaiser doesn't make the call right away. Now, where's Kaiser? There he is right there. See, now he's looking. See, now he looks at him. Now he calls it fair. That is not, that's why all the confusion. Now, watch Kaiser here. The ball comes down towards him. He is not looking at it. And you see Palmeiro trying to call it foul.
And Palmeiro also making the same call that Jim McKean's making at the plate.
Right. But it is Ken Kaiser's call, and if he thought it was fair, that's the right call to make.
Now hold everything. All of a sudden the Twins have a run home, and a base hit could tie the game. Runners at second and third, only 1 out. Pedro Munoz, ball 1. Well, that's how the Twins do it at the Metrodome. Couple of singles, and then a grounder just barely fair.
Well, for some reason, this inning, Kevin Brown, after Puckett got the base hit.
That is to short, will get a run home. Farm to first for the out. It is 3-2, and Larkin goes to third as Harper scores. An RBI for Munoz.
Kevin Brown has been a little different pitcher this inning than he was the 6 previous innings. He was turning the ball over a little more this inning, trying to get the ground ball for the double play. He got the ground ball, but Larkin pulled it down the line. He was not using the real hard sinker. He was just turning the ball over a little bit.
Now one of last year's postseason heroes, Scott Leyes, the hitter. Tying run at third base. Ball 1. Backhanded out of the dirt by Rodriguez. And there is Larkin, the possible tying run. Scott Leyes in his second year hit a game-winning home run in Game 2 of the World Series against Atlanta's Tom Glavine. Right here. Wide of third. It's off the glove. Base hit. It's all tied up.
This is kind of interesting. A lot of times in the late innings, you do not want to give up the extra base hit, so you guard the line. Al Newman is playing off the line, which is the reason he was able to make the dive and make contact with the ball. I don't think Gagne could have, here, see how far off the line he is? Now he's able to make contact. You will see the shortstop, Dickie Thon, coming to the background. Thon may have had a play on the ball if Newman would not have knocked it away from him.
Now here is Gagne, the Twins shortstop. 3-3. And this is what Twins baseball in the Metrodome is all about. That's a called strike, and it is 0-1 to Gagne. He's fouled to first and grounded to short. 0 for 2. I mean, think about it. A couple of base hits. One of those even, the dome had something to do with the artificial turf. Gonzalez might have gone for the shoestring catch on a natural turf field in the single by Harper. Ground ball, was it fair or foul? It got called fair, at least by one umpire.
Right.
And then another little ground ball, speeding up on the turf, and just off the glove of Newman.
Well, on the ground ball, he's right. We had a split decision on that.
Yeah.
Whether it was fair or foul.
Bobby Valentine. Oh, boy. He's seen this a few times at the Metrodome. So has every manager who comes in here to play the Twins. Remember when we were here, Joe, last August, and Oakland was here, and La Russa said you just have to keep the Twins from getting turned on in this ballpark, because once they do, the base hits come in droves. They seem to start believing that no matter what they do, they're going to get a hit. As you mentioned, I mean, Brown seems to have changed his approach, but it's not like they're hammering the ball off the walls
not,
again.
but that's exactly what happens, and that was supposed to be a pitch out. You see, you could see Rodriguez move out for the pitch out, and Brown almost threw a strike.
Now that could have been a big play if he hadn't caught that ball. He could have put the go-ahead run in scoring position. 3 runs in for the Twins here in the 7th inning. Suddenly the game is tied, the game that Texas had led since the very first inning. To second, Houston to Thon, and the inning is over. But the Twins send 7 men to the plate. They get 3 of them home, 1 left. Top of the order coming for Texas. 3-3 after 7. Inning at the Metrodome, and now Dean Palmer with 3 home runs in the first 3 games of the season for Texas. The young third baseman stands in, takes ball 1 from Bob Kipper. Ball just jumps off this guy's bat. He had a rough baptism into the big leagues last year. Kipper blows it past him. 1 ball, 1 strike. But now this year, he starts the year as the third baseman. He was in the minor leagues last year as a third baseman. But because they had Buechele at third, when they brought him to the big leagues, they stuck him in left field. The first time he ever played left field at any level was in the big leagues. He struggled, and then when they traded Buechele, the trade was not greeted happily in Texas by the fans and the media. And of course, that put the focus squarely on the shoulders of this man, Dean Palmer. He did hit a lot of home runs, but hit below 200. But look what he did at the tail end of last year, and look what he's done early this year. He's got a lot of power. Changeup off the outside. Now, following Houston, Newman will be due up, and then Palmeiro. Then you've got Sierra, a switch hitter, Gonzalez, a right-handed hitter. And the Rangers have been quiet in this game, only 2 hits. Check swing. They appeal to Kaiser. The appeal denied.
I tell you what, that was a close swing there, because it looked like he pulled it back, but he went across. He went a long way before he pulled it back. Here, take a look at it. See if their head of the bat comes. Yes, it does.
And that's a base hit into left center field. He will take the big turn and go back. The ball hurried back by Shane Mack. Well, a big call there on the check swing.
Texas got a break there, so let's see if they can take advantage of it. Take another look with 2 strikes. Palmer cuts down on his swing and just sets a line drive into left center field. Actually, I thought he had a chance to go for 2 here. It's a long run for Shane Mack to cut it off, but he stays at first with a single.
Now here is Newman. Is he bunting in the Metrodome?
Well, if you're the Texas Rangers, you have to get the lead back, so I would say yes.
Up the first base line, nicely done. Larkin to Knobloch. for the putout. And that's what Newman did so often here in the Twins. He does the little things well.
Well, I think it was a good play simply because you've lost the lead. You lost a 3-run lead here in the 7th inning. You need to score to get back on top. Good bunt by Newman, pushes it to the first baseman. He has to make the play to first base. Moving up to second is Dean Palmer. So I think it's a good move to bunt in this situation. A lot of people say you do not bunt on the road. You know, you play for ties at home and bunt, you know, you only bunt when you are at home to get the lead. But I think in this situation, you go ahead and bunt him over, give Palmeiro a chance to drive him in. And there's no reason that you can't get 3 or 4 hits in a row and break the game open anyway.
Now you've got the left-hander versus the left-hander. Palmeiro, the hitter. Oh, it hit him.
Well, he should hope that it didn't hit him, but it did. If it doesn't hit him, it's a wild pitch, and the runner could move over to third.
Well, Palmeiro, a .291 lifetime hitter against left-handers. And now Kelly gets somebody up in his bullpen.
Yes, it hits him. No doubt about it. Sidearm breaking ball that stays behind Palmeiro.
There is Tom Eatons, a right-hander up in the Minnesota bullpen, and he is now joined by a lefty out there, Mark Guthrie, the left-hander. 2 men on, and here is the dangerous Sierra. Tonight he has been shut down. Came into the game hitting .480. His line to right, flied to left center, and struck out. Now he bats right-handed. Ruben is hitting .500 right-handed this year. Popped him up, but foul. Larkin over near the dugout. He's got it. And then into the dugout.
That was a good pitch by Kipper. He threw him an off-speed pitch the first pitch, and he came back with a real good fastball, and Sierra was a little behind it, and that's why he popped it up. Watch this fastball. It gets on Sierra right there. He's behind it, and it was a good pitch on the outside corner as well. Nice play by Larkin, and he holds the runners.
Well, Ruben Sierra 0 for 4 tonight. There's Julio Franco with the batting helmet on and the warm-up jacket. Brian Downing on the right side of the screen. A couple of fine hitters.
Well, it's probably a little shock to his system. He's not used to going 0 for 4.
0 for 4. He was 12 for 25 for the year coming into this game. Now Gonzalez, his 3-run first inning homer, all of the Texas scoring. 2 on, 2 out, ball 1. The base runners over at second base, that is Palmer. And Palmeiro is over at first, a 3-3 tie. Now last year, his rookie season against left-handed pitching, Juan Gonzalez hit .299. But none of that was against Bob Kipper, who was in the National League. And Tom Kelly showing an awful lot of confidence in his new left-hander, keeping him in this spot.
Yes.
Kipper did not have a particularly good spring. He got knocked around a bit. And it was just a couple of days ago that he pitched his first real strong ball game.
But the one thing you have to realize is that Tom Kelly is still trying to feel out his pitching staff, too, to know which pitchers he can use in certain situations. He wants to see if Kipper can get the strong right-handed hitters out.
Up the middle, base hit. He doesn't get this one out. Rounding third and scoring will be Dean Palmer. Over to third, Palmeiro, the throw. Safe! Just barely. Scoring Palmer, the 4th RBI of the game for the 22-year-old Juan Gonzalez. And Texas is right back ahead, 4-3.
That's a good piece of base running and good hitting by Gonzalez. Gonzalez hits the ball well, pitches away, and he just goes right back through the middle with it. Good piece of hitting. He didn't try to pull it. And good hustle by Palmeiro. Puckett comes up firing. It looks like the throw is going to beat him, but he slides in safely. It's a nice slide by Palmeiro. Watch, the throw actually beats him, but by the time he gets over to his left leg, his foot is already on the bag. Good slide.
Runners at first and third. Gonzalez staying at first. Here's Reimer, left-hander against left-hander. Drive deep to right. If it's fair, it's gone. Which is it? It's a foul ball.
We better wait.
To the condominiums up there. Yeah. Oh, a little sarcastic there,
Yeah,
Joe.
we better wait and make sure we got both opinions in. Here's the pitch. Reimer turns on it. He knows it's foul right away. You can see it's hooking. And it's foul by about 20 feet.
And the umpires
I don't even think
unanimous.
they made a call. Right.
It was a unanimous call. Reimer 0 for 3. Runners at first and third right now. 2 down. A runner is in. Popped him up. Over at third, Lance takes it. But the Rangers are back ahead. Top of the order coming for the Twins. Shane Mack, Chuck Knobloch, Kirby Puckett. Let's see what happened. We're at the Metrodome. Last weekend they had the Final Four going on here. And of course it wasn't so long ago the Super Bowl was played here. What was that? January, yeah. As Shane Mack takes a strike. Twins down by a run as they come to bat against Kevin Brown. And we've got sports in a big way here in the Twin Cities. Changes for the Rangers. Dean Palmer stays in the game to play third base. And Al Newman has moved from third base over to second base. Kevin Brown to Shane Mack. Ruben Sierra out number 1. Now let's go to Tom Mees at the studio.
All right, John, thanks a lot. I want to welcome a new sponsor, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Every week we're going to take a look at the K factor. You hear a lot about the strikeout base on balls ratio. Last year, Kevin Brown had almost as many walks as he did strikeouts. He had a losing record. Tonight, he has 4 strikeouts to only 1 walk in this game, and he still stands to be the winning pitcher in a 4-3 lead for Texas. Let's get back to the Metrodome, John.
All right, Tom. And that would be 5 strikeouts. It's even better than we thought. 5 strikeouts and only 1 walk. Of course, we're here in the Central Time Zone. That's 5 strikeouts Central Time. The 90th pitch just thrown by Kevin Brown. Chuck Knobloch took it for a ball. Knobloch is 0 for 3. Too high. Remember, they need 9 tonight from Kevin Brown. The bullpen needs a night of rest. Rangers nightly slugfests have taken their toll on their bullpen. 4-3 Texas ahead. Last of the 8th. Too low to Knobloch. Kirby Puckett is on deck. So Joe, if you're Chuck Knobloch, what, you just got to get on base.
Well, I think that's what he has done so well in his 1+ season here with the Minnesota Twins. That's why I say Knobloch kind of grows on you. Does a lot of little things that help you to win.
And he gets on base. The walk, the second walk by Brown. And here comes Kirby Puckett. And of course, it was Puckett who started the 3-run 7th-inning rally with a single. 1 out, 1 on. Rangers lead by 1. And now for the first time, we're going to get some action in the Texas bullpen. A left-hander gets up for Texas. Puckett, this could be 2. On to second 1. Back to first is Newman, a double play.
Yeah.
And just like that, the Twins are gone. We go to the 9th inning. John Miller, Joe Morgan, our first ESPN Sunday night baseball game of the year. We've got a 1-run game going. Top of the 9th, Bob Kipper to Doherty. High drive, deep right center. Back goes Puckett. Still going back, and he makes the catch right near the wall.
You know, Al Newman, who was a Minnesota Twin last year, is now with the Texas Rangers. He started this game at third base. He moved over to second. To make a double play on Kirby Puckett, everything has to go well. The ball is grounded near shortstop, near the bag. Quick toss to second. Quick release by Newman. And they get Puckett at first base. You have to have perfect timing to get perfect Kirby Puckett.
Diving is Lance. And he can't come up with the ball, though. And Dickie Thon has an infield single. Almost a great play there by Lance.
Wait a minute.
They're going to score that an error? They score that an error.
I mean, Dickie Thon can't believe it. Scott Les can't believe it. I can't believe it. I mean, we'll take another look at it. Whoever the official score is here should probably read the rule book. The rule book says any ball that cannot be handled with routine effort shall be scored a base hit. And that is definitely not routine effort.
Oh, now they've changed it.
Well, they're only because the fans booed. The fans made him change it.
Maybe they're listening to us down there.
Yeah, but it
Maybe
never
that's
should have been scored an error. But the fans have to give them credit here. They know their baseball. That was a base hit.
So here is Ivan Rodriguez. Fouled straight back and out of play. Rodriguez tonight is fly deep to center, line to first, and grounded to short. 0 for 3. We have not been able to see him attempt to throw out a would-be base stealer tonight. They say that's really something. He may have the best arm of any American League catcher, maybe any catcher currently. That's a foul out of play.
You're probably not going to get to see a lot of him throwing runners out because they're not going to run that often against a guy like Rodriguez.
Toby Harrah flashing some signs, or rather, I'm sorry, Dave Oliver, the third base coach for Texas, with the signs. There is Thon, the runner at first. Toby Harrah is a coach for Texas, but he's the bench coach now in the dugout with Bobby Valentine. 0-2 to Rodriguez. Fouled and out of play. Well, the other night in Seattle, when Brown was pitching his shutout, one big play, they said Brown had some shaky times. Oliver with more signs. One big play was a strikeout into a double play when Rodriguez threw out Harold Reynolds, who can steal a base. Threw him out by 3 feet. It wasn't even close at second base.
Well, he definitely has a very strong arm and looks to be very accurate as well. I've watched him in last night's ball game. Made a couple of throws to second base.
Showed there that he can hit a ball in the dirt. He doesn't walk, this fellow. I mean, he goes up there to hack. So far this year, Rodriguez has had 22 at-bats and 2 walks, and that's an upset. He walked only 5 times all of last year.
I think he needs either slit his shirts or get a bigger shirt.
Struck him out. He is much. He's only 20 years old.
Right, kind of reminds me of a young Ted Kluszewski.
Look at those biceps. Wow.
Well, it's a good pitch by Kipper. Kipper has made some good pitches to the right-handers. That ball's right on the outside corner, right about knee high. Very good pitch when you're ahead in the count with 2 strikes. Hitter can't lay off of that one.
Ivan Rodriguez from Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. 2 down in the 9th inning. We'll be hearing his name, I think, over the years. He was 19 years, 6 months, and 21 days old when he made his major league debut. He caught 88 games as a teenager. You have to go back nearly 60 years to find somebody who caught more games while a teenager in the big leagues. Thon at first, the batter, Dean Palmer. It was his pinch hit single to start the 8th inning that started the rally that put the Rangers back ahead. Palmer for the year is now 10 for 22. 455 average. He got 3 home runs already. He had 3 homers, 1 in each of the first 3 games this year. That's a strike, and it is 0-2. And the all-time record for consecutive games hitting at least 1 home run at the start of the year was set by Willie Mays. He did it 4 straight days. Palmer was unable to do it the 4th day. On the 4th day, his home run bat rested. 2 down. Runner at first. 2-strike pitch. Outside and low. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Of course, Willie Mays, one of the few people to do it, hit 4 home runs in 1 game.
It's the Milwaukee Braves at County Stadium, 1961.
Mike Schmidt, of course, did it.
Well, don't bet against Palmer doing it one day. And back to first is Thon. You know, I remember 4 years ago, spring training game in Miami. Nobody ever heard of Dean Palmer. Up in the low minors, Bobby Valentine says, watch this kid swing. He's got a sweet swing. He tabbed him years ago as being a guy who was going to do some big things up here. Way inside and past Harper. And Thon will go to second. Well, now you got Al Newman on deck. Joe, I mean, he's a switch hitter, but he's not a dangerous hitter.
Well, it's a breaking ball that Kipper holds on to a little too long. He tries to go inside with it, and you can see no chance for Harper to do anything but try to block it, and it bounced off his glove and goes away. Right there, that's way inside.
Scored as a wild pitch. He got first base open. No reason to give in to Palmer here now. Outside and high, 3-2. Why not just walk him? With Newman up next.
I don't know if pitchers think that way anymore, and especially when you have 2 strikes. I would say you don't walk him intentionally. You nibble or throw a ball off the plate, try to get him to chase a pitch. Anytime you give 2 strikes, I don't believe you should walk anyone. Like
Struck
that.
him out, and he chased ball 4.
That's what he should do. You try to get him to chase a pitch. I don't think you walk anyone with 2 strikes.
Last chance for the Twins. Chili Davis will lead it off. 4-3 Texas. If his Twins can mount a 9th inning rally, trailing by 1. Chili Davis off the foot of Kevin Brown. Barehanded, the throw by Palmer, and he got him. A kick save by Kevin Brown.
Well, this was a base hit if it did not hit the foot of Kevin Brown. Chili Davis grounds it right back through the middle. It hits off Kevin Brown. See no chance for the shortstop to get over in time to make the play. Nice play by Palmer. He took his time and fired a strike to Palmer at first base. Now watch, it's grounded right back through the middle. It actually hits him on the right foot. No damage done. Kevin Brown's going to stay in the ball game. So Chili Davis loses a base hit.
Danny Wheat, the Rangers trainer, went out to make sure Kevin Brown was all right. Brown assured him he was, and here is Brian Harper. Harper 1 for 3 in the game. To second, Al Newman, plenty of time. 2 men down. Now the Rangers bullpen is busy. As the inning started, Texas got both left-hander Kenny Rogers and right-hander Jeff Russell up in the bullpen. But Kevin Brown has dispatched the first 2 Twins in short order. One with his foot. And here is Gene Larkin. He drove in the Twins' first run of the game with a disputed double. Ball 1. If Texas can hold this one, the Rangers will go home for their home opener tomorrow night in first place, ahead of Oakland by half a game. Doesn't mean a whole lot, but it'll make a nice announcement before the game tomorrow. And this should do it from right field. Newman throws him out. And the Rangers win this series at the Metrodome from the world champions. The final tonight, Texas 4, Minnesota 3, and Brown not only gave them the win, Joe, he gave them the innings they needed. He gave that bullpen a very much needed night of rest.
Well, the one thing we've said at the beginning of the telecast is if the Texas Rangers get any pitching this year, they're going to be in the thick of the American League West. And I believe that Kevin Brown has to be the leader of that staff, because you can't count on Nolan Ryan. And when he's healthy, he's going to be the leader. But Nolan's going to have a few more nagging injuries over the course of the year.
And the Major League debut